Cowboy entered the gun shop for ammo, came out carrying a widow's secret coal rainer rode into dry hollow under a sky the color of old steel. The sun was there, but it felt distant, like it was watching from behind a curtain. Wind pushed orange dust across the road and rattled the metal signs on the buildings. Dry Hollow was not a big town. It was the kind of place people passed through, not the kind they stayed in. Still, it had a stubborn life to it. Solar panels clung to rooftops. Water tanks stood like silent guards, and old-style wooden porches faced the street as if they were part of a story from another time. Cole looked like he belonged to that older story. He wore a long coat with sand marks on the hem and a wide hat pulled low over his eyes. But his ride was not a normal horse. It was a machine built in the shape of one. Its legs were smooth alloy and its joints made soft, controlled sounds when it walked. The townsfolk called such mounts iron steeds. Cole just called his dust. He slowed near the center of town. He only needed ammo, that was it. He had a caravan escort contract waiting at the edge of the Badlands, and a man who traveled unprepared did not travel long. Cole had learned that lesson years ago. A sign creaked above a small shop, Vale Arms and Supply. The paint was faded, but the letters were still clear. Cole guided Dust to the hitch rail outside. The rail had a charging post attached to it, so he plugged Dust in and tapped the machine's neck with 2 fingers. Dust lowered its head like a living animal, then went still. Cole stepped into the shop. The air inside smelled like oil, dry wood, and something faintly burned. The place was quiet in a way that made sound feel too loud. Shelves lined the walls, holding boxes, tools, and parts. Some sections looked empty, like inventory had been taken fast. A few weapon cases sat behind glass, but not many. A security drone hung from the ceiling on a cable, powered down like a dead insect. Behind the counter stood a woman. She was in her early 30s, with dark hair tied back and a calm face that looked like it had learned to hide fear. Her eyes watched Cole the way a person watched a storm at a distance, quiet, careful, ready for it to change direction. "Morning," she said. "Morning," Cole answered. His voice was steady and low. "What do you need?" "Ammo," Cole said. "Rifle rounds and 2 power cells for a sidearm." The woman nodded and turned without asking more. She moved with a kind of practiced control, like she had learned to stay calm even when her hands wanted to shake. She opened a cabinet, pulled out boxes, and set them on the counter. As Cole waited, his eyes moved across the shop again. He noticed the scorch marks on one wall, half covered by a hanging cloth. He noticed the cracked edge of the counter, like something heavy had slammed into it. He noticed the old panic switch on the floor behind the counter, the kind shops used when the law was far away. Cole had seen places like this before. Frontier towns, thin lines of safety, one push and everything fell. The woman met his gaze for a second, then looked away. She slid the ammo toward him. "That'll do," she said. Cole placed credit chips on the counter. "You're low on stock." "We've had trouble," she said. Her voice stayed polite, but her words had weight. She tried to sound normal, but her eyes kept drifting toward the front windows like she expected someone to appear. Cole didn't ask questions right away. Asking too fast made people close up. He simply started packing the ammo into his bag. The bell above the door rang. Cole didn't turn quickly. He turned smoothly. Slow movements kept people from panicking. 3 men stepped inside. Their boots were clean and their coats were too new. That was the first sign. Real drifters didn't look that fresh. The second sign was the way they scanned the shop. Not like customers, like hunters. One of them smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the kind that tried to make fear feel foolish. "Ma'am," he said to the woman behind the counter. "We're looking for something." The woman's shoulders stiffened. "This is a shop," she replied. "If you want to buy something, say it." The man's smile didn't move. "We want information about your late husband." Silence dropped into the room. Even the old air vent seemed to hold its breath. Cole could feel the woman's heart in the way her hands tightened around the counter's edge. She was afraid, but she wasn't falling apart. That meant she had faced this before. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said. The second man stepped closer to the counter. He put a small device down like it was a casual thing. It was a scanner, compact, sharp-edged, and expensive. "We do," he said. "He carried a package, a special one. He never delivered it." The woman's jaw tightened. "He's dead," she said. "Whatever you're chasing, it died with him." The first man tilted his head. "Maybe, but sometimes packages don't die." Cole watched them carefully. Their eyes kept flicking to corners of the shop, to floor seams, to storage cabinets. They were searching without touching anything. That meant they either had scanned the place before or they were trained to read rooms fast. Cole spoke then, not loud, not threatening. "This a private talk?" he asked. All three men turned toward him like they had just noticed he existed. The first man studied him, eyes moving from hat to coat to the worn grip of the holstered sidearm at Cole's hip. "It can be," the man said. "If you walk out." Cole stayed still. "I'm just buying ammo." The third man laughed softly. "Then buy it and go." Cole could hear something in the laugh, confidence, like they believed the town belonged to them already. The woman's voice came tight. "There's nothing here for you." The second man tapped the scanner. "We'll decide that." The first man leaned forward. "We're not here to hurt anyone," he said, and it sounded like a lie dressed in good manners. "We just want what belongs to our employer." "It doesn't belong to you," the woman said. The man's smile faded a little. "Careful," he warned. "People who hide things tend to have accidents." Cole noticed a small movement. The woman's foot shifted slightly near the panic switch. She was ready to press it. But Cole also noticed the powered-down security drone hanging above. If the switch worked, it might wake the drone. Or it might do nothing at all. If it did nothing, the men would know she tried. That would make things worse. Cole made his choice fast. He reached into his bag and pulled out one more set of credit chips. He slid them across the counter like he was finishing a normal purchase. "I'm done," he said calmly. The first man watched him. "Good." Cole turned toward the door, walking at the same slow pace. He did not rush. Rushing would trigger them. He paused near the exit and looked back, eyes calm. "I don't know your business," Cole said. "But this is a small town. You push too hard, you'll get everyone staring." The third man shrugged. "Let them stare." The first man stepped closer to Cole. "Thanks for the advice," he said, voice soft. "Now leave." Cole nodded once, then stepped outside, but he didn't ride away. He stood on the porch looking down the street, acting like he was adjusting his gloves. His mind was working. Those men were not local. They were not simple bandits either. The scanner, the clean boots, the calm threats, this felt organized, syndicate work, corporate hunters. The kind that didn't care who got crushed. Inside the shop, the voices continued, muted through the walls. Cole listened without pressing his ear close. He didn't need every word. He only needed the tone. The woman's voice stayed firm, but it cracked on one line. The men's voices stayed smooth, like knives that didn't need to shout. Then the bell rang again. The three men came out. They didn't look angry, but their eyes carried a promise. They climbed into a hovering truck parked nearby. Its engine purred like a sleeping animal. The truck lifted slightly, then rolled down the street, leaving dust behind. Cole watched until it disappeared beyond the last buildings. He went back inside. The woman looked up, surprised. For the first time, her calm mask slipped and pain showed beneath it. "You didn't leave," she said. "No," Cole replied, her gaze sharpened. "Why?" Cole looked around the shop again. "Those men will come back," he said. "They already have," she answered quietly. Cole nodded, understanding more now. "What's your name?" "Myra," she said. After a pause, she added, "Myra Vale." Cole rested a hand on the counter, not too close, not invading her space. "I'm Cole," Myra swallowed. "I don't want trouble, I've had enough." Cole's eyes stayed steady. "Trouble already knows where you live," he said. Mara's fingers trembled slightly, and she pressed them flat to hide it. "My husband was just a shopkeeper," she said, but the words didn't match the fear in her eyes. Cole waited. Silence gave people room to speak when they were ready. Mara looked toward the floor as if she was staring at something hidden beneath it. When she spoke again, her voice was softer. "He used to run deliveries," she admitted. "Long range, quiet routes. He said it paid well." Cole kept his face calm, but his attention sharpened. "And then," Mara's eyes lifted. They were tired eyes. "And then one day he came home scared," she said. "He told me if anything happened to him, I should keep the shop open like normal, smile, act like I knew nothing." Cole held her gaze. "Did he leave you something?" Mara didn't answer right away. She looked toward the back room, then toward the door like she was measuring the world and finding it unsafe. Finally, she whispered, "Yes." Cole didn't push. He asked one simple question. "Do you know what it is?" Mara's voice shook once. "A secret," she said, "and I think it's the reason he died." Outside, the wind rose, rattling the sign again. Cole picked up his ammo bag, but he didn't sling it over his shoulder yet. He looked at Mara like a man deciding whether to step into a fire. "I came here for ammo," he said, "but I don't like bullies." Mara gave a bitter smile that didn't reach her eyes. They're not bullies, she said. They're worse. They have money and ships and people who don't ask questions. Cole nodded. Then we don't give them easy answers. Mara blinked. We. Cole's voice stayed simple. If you want help, he said, I can give it. Mara's lips parted like she wanted to refuse, like pride and fear were wrestling inside her. Then she looked at the empty shelves, the scorch mark hidden by cloth, the dead drone above. She whispered, they said they'd come back tonight. Cole looked at the front windows, at the bright street, at the open sky beyond. Then you shouldn't be alone tonight, he said. Mara's eyes shone, not with tears yet, but with something close to them. She nodded once. In that small gun shop, on a forgotten frontier world, a simple ammo purchase turned into a choice. And Cole Rayner, who had meant to ride on by sunset, stayed. Because a widow's secret was now in his hands too, whether he wanted it or not. Evening settled slowly over Dry Hollow, turning the sky into deep shades of orange and violet. Long shadows stretched across the street, and most of the townspeople disappeared indoors earlier than usual. Doors closed softly. Lights dimmed behind dusty windows. It felt like the entire settlement was holding its breath. Inside Vale Arms and Supply, Cole moved with quiet focus. He checked every entrance and window, not like a man preparing for a battle, but like someone making sure nothing unexpected would happen. He locked the front door and lowered the metal shutters halfway. Outside, Dust stood connected to the charging post, its artificial eyes glowing faintly as it monitored movement on the street. Mara watched him from behind the counter. She had not said much since agreeing to let him stay, but her silence was not empty. It carried years of memory and recent fear. Finally, she spoke. You act like you've done this before. Cole didn't look up from adjusting a small sensor near the window frame. I have, she hesitated. Were you military? Something like that, he said simply. Mara nodded slowly, accepting that he wasn't ready to explain more. She moved toward the back room, then paused. You should see it, she said quietly. Cole turned. The thing my husband left, she added. He followed her through a narrow hallway into a small storage space. The room was filled with old crates, spare parts, and tools that had not been moved in years. Mara knelt beside a section of the floor and pressed her hand against a hidden latch. A panel slid open, revealing a small compartment. Inside lay a compact metal case. It looked simple at first glance, but Cole immediately noticed the fine lines along its surface, advanced technology hidden beneath plain design. Mara lifted it carefully, like it carried more weight than its size suggested. My husband told me never to open it unless I had no other choice, she said. And now, Cole asked. I think we reached that point when those men walked into my shop, she answered. She placed the case on a workbench. Her hands hovered over it, unsure. Cole stepped closer, examining without touching. Mind if I check? He asked. She nodded. Cole activated a small scanner from his wrist. Soft blue light passed over the case. Symbols appeared in the air, encrypted layers, high-level security, and something else deeper beneath it all. This isn't ordinary, he said. I guess that, Mara replied. Cole looked at her gently. You trust me enough to open it? She swallowed, then nodded once. Yes. The case opened with a quiet click. Inside was a small data core, a glowing crystal-like device encased in metal rings. Soft light pulsed from within it, slow and steady like a heartbeat. Cole leaned closer. Data storage, he said, but not just records. This thing holds navigation files, star maps. Mara frowned. Star maps. My husband ran deliveries, but he never talked about exploration. Cole's scanner continued to analyze. New images appeared in the air, strange coordinates, deep space routes, and clusters of unknown signals. These maps lead somewhere hidden, he said. Places not marked on normal charts. Mara's expression shifted from confusion to realization. That's why they want it. Cole nodded. What could be so important? She asked. He hesitated. Hard to say without full access, he admitted. But secret routes mean power. Whoever controls hidden paths controls trade or war. Mara stepped back slowly. He died for this, she whispered. Cole closed the case gently, and he trusted you to protect it. Silence filled the room for a moment. Outside, wind brushed against the building like a warning. Mara spoke again, voice softer. I don't want to be part of something dangerous. I just want to live quietly. Cole understood that feeling. He had once wanted the same. You didn't choose this, he said, but running blindly won't make it disappear. Before she could respond, a faint beep came from Cole's wrist console. He checked it quickly. Movement outside, he said. Mara's face tightened. Cole returned to the main room, moving calmly but quickly. Through a small gap in the shutter, he saw lights hovering at the end of the street, drones, small, fast, scanning. "They're watching," he said. Mara's hands trembled slightly. "What do we do?" "We stay quiet," he replied. "No sudden moves." The drones drifted closer, their lights sweeping across buildings. One paused near the shop, scanning the front door. Cole reached up and powered on the old security drone hanging from the ceiling. The machine flickered to life with a low hum. "Does it work?" Mara whispered. "We'll find out." The scanning drone outside lingered for several seconds, then moved on. Cole waited until its light faded into the distance before relaxing slightly. "They're preparing," he said. "Testing defenses." Mara sank into a chair behind the counter. "I can't keep living like this." Cole sat across from her. "You won't have to forever." She looked at him, searching his face. "Why are you helping me?" Cole thought for a moment before answering. "Because someone helped me once," he said quietly, "when I didn't deserve it." Mara studied him, but she didn't ask more. Instead, she nodded slowly. Night deepened outside. The town grew silent except for distant wind and the occasional hum of passing vehicles far away. Then it happened, a sharp sound at the back door. Cole stood instantly. His hand moved toward his sidearm but did not draw it yet. He signaled Mara to stay behind the counter. The sound came again, metal scraping. Cole moved along the wall, staying out of sight. The back door lock began to glow faintly, someone trying to override it. "They're early," Mara whispered. Cole nodded. The lock clicked. The door slid open slightly. A small drone slipped inside, no larger than a bird, equipped with cameras and scanning tools. It hovered silently, its sensors sweeping the room. Cole stepped forward and grabbed it midair with quick precision. The drone struggled, but he disabled it with a swift motion, pulling out its power core. Mara exhaled slowly. "Scouts!" "Testing again," Cole said. He placed the drone on the counter and examined it. "High-grade equipment, definitely syndicate." Mara hugged herself, trying to stay calm. "What happens next?" she asked. Cole met her eyes. "They escalate." As if answering his words, lights appeared outside more than before. Shadows moved behind the shutters. A voice called from the street through a loudspeaker. Calm, controlled. "Miss Vale," it said, "we know you're inside. We'd prefer a peaceful conversation." Mara froze. Cole spoke quietly. "Stay behind me." He approached the door but didn't open it. "Shop's closed," he called out. A pause, then the voice replied, slightly amused. "Ah, the traveler, still here, I see." Cole didn't respond. "We're not enemies," the voice continued. "We simply want property that belongs to our employer," Mara whispered. "They won't leave." Cole's expression stayed calm. "No," he agreed softly. The voice outside continued. "We will return tomorrow with legal authority and more persuasion. Consider that before making poor decisions." Lights faded as vehicles pulled away. Silence returned slowly. Mara's shoulders sagged with relief, but fear remained in her eyes. "They're giving us time," she said. "Yes," Cole replied, "because they believe they already won." She looked at the data case hidden beneath the counter. "What do we do now?" Cole glanced at the window, then back at her. "We prepare," he said. Mara nodded slowly, understanding growing inside her. She wasn't just a widow running a shop anymore. She was holding something powerful, something others were willing to threaten and chase. And now, with Cole beside her, she knew one thing clearly. The next day would change everything. Morning came slowly to Dry Hollow, but the calm feeling of sunrise did not reach inside the gun shop. The air felt heavy, like a storm waiting just beyond the horizon. Cole had not slept much. He spent most of the night watching the street through narrow gaps in the shutters, studying every shadow and movement. Mara rested only for a short time, sitting in a chair near the counter with the data case hidden beneath it. When the first light touched the buildings outside, Cole finally stood from his position by the window. "They'll come today," he said quietly. Mara nodded. She had already reached that conclusion. The way the syndicate had spoken the night before made it clear they were not leaving without the device. "What should we do?" she asked. Cole thought for a moment before answering. "We don't wait for them to control the situation," he said. "We prepare our own ground." He stepped outside to check dust. The mechanical horse lifted its head slightly, sensors glowing as it recognized him. The street looked empty, but Cole knew better. Somewhere beyond the town limits, watchers would be waiting. A few townsfolk peeked from behind curtains. Word had spread that strangers were causing trouble again. People here were used to keeping their distance from danger, but Cole noticed something else too, quiet concern in their faces. They knew Mara. She wasn't just a shopkeeper, she was part of their community. When he returned inside, Myra had placed 2 cups of hot drink on the counter. "You should eat something," she said. Cole accepted the cup with a small nod. "Thank you." They drank in silence for a while. Finally, Myra spoke. "I've been thinking," she said. "Maybe I should just give them the data core if it stops all this." Cole shook his head gently. "They wouldn't stop," he said. "People who threaten rarely leave witnesses." She lowered her eyes, knowing he was right. "What is it really?" she asked again. "You looked at it longer than I did. What do you think it is?" Cole placed the cup down slowly. "It's more than a map," he said. "There's a network tied to those coordinates, defense systems maybe, or something that could protect entire frontier colonies." Myra looked surprised. "Protect? That's my guess," he replied. "Your husband may have believed it could keep places like this safe from groups like them." Her eyes filled with emotion. "He never told me he was part of something so big." "Maybe he didn't want you involved," Cole said softly. Before she could answer, a young boy appeared outside the shop window, waving urgently. Cole stepped toward the door, opening it slightly. The boy spoke quickly. "Miss Vale, there are vehicles coming, big ones, from the South Road." Cole thanked him and closed the door again. "They're here," he said. Mara's face went pale, but she stood straighter. Fear was still there, but something stronger had joined it, determination. "What's the plan?" she asked. Cole grabbed a piece of old cloth and spread it across the counter, sketching a rough map of the town using chalk. "They expect us to hide," he said. "So we do something different," he explained quickly. Dry Hollow had narrow side streets and old mining tunnels beneath some buildings. If they stayed inside the shop, they would be surrounded. Instead, they would move, create confusion, slow the syndicate down, and buy time. "Time for what?" Mara asked. "For help," Cole said. "And for a better choice." She didn't ask more, she trusted him now. Outside, the sound of engines grew louder. Heavy vehicles rolled into town, kicking up clouds of dust. Hover trucks and armored transports lined the main street. Armed figures stepped out, calm and organized. Cole watched through a small gap. "They brought more people than needed," he said. "They want to scare the town." The loudspeaker voice returned, the same calm tone as before. "Miss Vale," it called, "we appreciate your patience. Please come outside with the package, and this will end peacefully." Mara's hands tightened. "I hate how calm they sound," she whispered. "They believe they have power," Cole replied. He checked his gear. He wasn't preparing for a fight to hurt anyone, only to delay and escape if needed. He handed Mara a small communicator. "If we get separated," he said, "stay on this channel." She nodded. The first move came quickly. A group of syndicate agents approached the shop door. One of them activated a tool to unlock it remotely. Cole pulled Myra toward the back room. "Now," he said. They slipped through the rear exit just before the front door opened. The agents entered the empty shop moments later, finding nothing but silence. Cole and Myra moved through a narrow alley, staying low. Dust rose around their boots as they hurried toward an old storage building behind the main street. Myra's heart raced. "Where are we going?" "There's a canyon pass outside town," Cole said. "Hard to surround. We reach it, we gain control." As they moved, 2 agents spotted them from a distance. "Stop!" one called. Cole guided Myra behind cover as energy shots hit the wall nearby, sending sparks into the air. He didn't fire back immediately. Instead, he used a small device to release a flash of light that forced the agents to retreat briefly. They ran again, moving through side streets. To Mara's surprise, a few townsfolk helped quietly, opening gates, pointing safe paths, creating small distractions. Dry Hollow might have been quiet, but it was not heartless. They reached dust near the edge of town. Cole helped Mara climb onto the mechanical horse behind him. "Hold tight," he said. Dust surged forward, its powerful legs carrying them quickly toward the open desert. Behind them, vehicles followed, engines roaring. Wind rushed past Mara's face, fear mixed with excitement. She had never left town like this before. "They're gaining," she said. Cole nodded. "They expected us to run, that's fine." He guided Dust toward a narrow canyon entrance. Tall rock walls rose on both sides, limiting movement. "This is risky," Mara said. "It is," Cole agreed, "but it gives us a chance." They reached a high ridge and stopped briefly. Cole looked at the data core. "We need to understand one more thing," he said. Mara opened the case carefully. The glowing device pulsed stronger now, reacting to something nearby. New symbols appeared, projecting faint light into the air. "What is it doing?" she asked. Cole studied the patterns. "It's activating," he said slowly. "Like it's recognizing its location." Mara's breath caught. "You mean we're close to whatever it leads to?" "Maybe," Cole said. The sound of approaching vehicles echoed through the canyon behind them. Mara closed the case. "Then we don't let them take it." Cole looked at her, impressed by her strength. "No," he agreed. "We don't." They rode deeper into the canyon, the path narrowing, the stakes growing higher with every step. Behind them, the syndicate forces followed, confident and relentless. But for the first time since this began, Mara didn't feel like prey. She felt like part of the fight. And ahead of them, hidden within the rocks and stars beyond, waited the true meaning of the widow's secret. The canyon stretched ahead like a long scar across the desert, its high stone walls glowing red under the rising sun. Dust followed behind Cole and Mara as dust carried them deeper into the narrow path. The air felt tighter here, quieter, as if even the wind respected the silence of this place. Behind them, the sound of engines echoed again. The syndicate vehicles were not far away. Mara held onto Cole's coat as the mechanical horse moved faster. Her heart beat hard, but fear no longer froze her. She felt focused now. Every moment since the strangers had entered her shop had changed something inside her. She was no longer just hiding. "They won't stop," she said. "No," Cole replied calmly, "but this terrain helps us." The canyon narrowed further ahead. Large rocks formed natural barriers, forcing anyone following to slow down. Cole guided Dust toward a high ledge overlooking a wider space inside the canyon, almost like a hidden arena formed by nature itself. He stopped there. Mara looked at him in surprise. "Why are we stopping?" "Because running forever doesn't work," he said. "Sometimes you choose where the fight happens." She understood immediately. Here the enemy could not surround them easily. The high walls gave them protection. Cole dismounted and helped Mara down gently. Dust moved aside, scanning the area with quiet mechanical awareness. "Open the case," Cole said. Mara hesitated only a moment before doing it. The data core glowed brighter now, projecting faint shapes into the air, lines and symbols forming a map that seemed alive. Cole studied it carefully. "It's reacting to this location," he said. "Why here?" she asked. Before he could answer, the ground trembled slightly. A low hum echoed from deeper within the canyon. Light appeared along the rock walls, faint lines glowing like ancient circuits waking from sleep. Mara stepped back, eyes wide. "What is that?" "I think," Cole said slowly, "this is one of the places your husband's map leads to." The glowing lines spread outward, forming patterns across the stone. Hidden panels opened silently, revealing old devices embedded into the canyon itself. They looked ancient but advanced, built long before the current settlements. "Defense systems," Cole said quietly. "Dormant until now." Mara stared at the data core. He was protecting this. Before they could explore further, engines roared behind them. Syndicate vehicles entered the canyon, stopping at a distance. Armed figures stepped out, weapons ready but movements careful. The same calm voice from before echoed across the rocks. "Impressive hiding place," the leader said as he walked forward. He wore a clean coat untouched by dust, his expression confident. "You've made this more difficult than necessary." Mara stood beside Cole, holding the case tightly. "It doesn't belong to you," she said, her voice steady despite the tension. The leader smiled faintly. "Everything belongs to someone with enough power." Cole stepped slightly forward, placing himself between them and the approaching group. "You're not taking it," he said. The leader sighed as if disappointed. "I was hoping for cooperation. You're a skilled man, Mr. Rayner. You could earn more credits than you've seen in your lifetime." Cole shook his head once. "Not interested." The leader's smile faded. Behind him, agents spread out, preparing to advance. Mara whispered, "What do we do?" Cole glanced at the glowing systems around them. "Trust the map," he said. She understood. Slowly, she placed the data core onto a small stone platform revealed by the glowing lines. The moment it touched the surface, light surged outward. A deep hum filled the canyon. From hidden compartments in the walls, defensive drones emerged, sleek machines shaped like metallic birds. They hovered silently at first, scanning the area. The syndicate agents hesitated. "What is this?" one muttered. The leader's calm expression finally cracked slightly. "Ancient security network," he said under his breath. The drones moved into formation around Cole and Mara, forming a protective circle. Cole didn't smile, but relief softened his eyes. "Looks like your husband knew exactly what he was doing," he said quietly. The leader raised his hand, signaling his agents to hold position. He tried one last time. "Think carefully," he said. "You are activating technology you don't understand. Give us the device and we walk away peacefully." Mara met his gaze. "You already threatened my home," she said. "Peace was never your plan." The drone's lights turned brighter, reacting to rising hostility. The leader realized the situation had changed. He stepped back slowly. "This isn't over," he said. "We will return with greater force." Cole's voice stayed calm. "Maybe," he said, "but not today." After a long moment, the leader turned. The syndicate agents retreated toward their vehicles, leaving the canyon slowly. Myra watched them go, hardly believing it was over, at least for now. The humming from the ancient system softened, the drones lowering slightly but remaining active. She looked at Cole. "We actually did it," he nodded. "You did it." They stood quietly for a while, letting the tension fade. The desert wind moved gently through the canyon again. "What happens now?" she asked. Cole looked at the glowing systems around them. "This place could protect frontier worlds," he said, "if used right." Mara thought of her husband, of his secret fears, his quiet strength. "He wanted to help people," she said softly. "Not just survive." Cole nodded. Myra turned to him. "Will you stay? Help me figure this out?" He hesitated. He was a traveler, used to leaving once the danger passed, but something about this place, about her courage, made him pause. "I'll stay long enough to make sure you're safe," he said. She smiled slightly, grateful. Later, as the sun climbed higher, they prepared to return to Dry Hollow. The canyon behind them glowed faintly, its ancient systems awake once more. Dust stepped forward, ready for the journey. As they rode back toward town, Mara felt different. The secret she once feared had become something powerful, not just a burden, but a chance to protect others. Cole rode beside her, quiet as always, watching the horizon. He had entered a gun shop for ammo. He left carrying something far heavier, a promise to protect a future shaped by courage, trust, and a widow's secret that had turned into hope for many.